Hey buddies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. Today we're doing a setup play and review for the game Babel, or Babel, depending on how you wish to pronounce it, by Uwe Rosenberg and Hagen Dortgarten. So this is by Z-Man Games. It's a game for 2 players. It's going in the 2-player playlist, the AmassGames playlist, had a setup play and review playlist, and with 38 games, the Uwe Rosenberg playlist. Now it's Uwe Rosenberg, who I have met. Uwe Rosenberg. Let's see if I can get the pronunciation right. I know I've said it multiple times, and I'm still thinking I'm being wincing it badly right now. I'm being winced at right now at the time of recording. So in this particular game, you are looking to get the most points. You have 2 different pawns, as they know as, in this 2000 year released game, which actually was nominated for SPIEL.digital. It was recommended. And it's a game that, if you get nominated, basically as a game that has to be easy to teach, easy to learn for families, and not too long. Now, the duration is actually 45 minutes, but it did take longer in our prior game, 2 hours, but that is not normally the case. That is just because there's a lot of stuff we need to clarify, because the rules aren't bad, but there's a few bits which they could place a bit better. So you're going to shuffle up this deck of cards as well. As you can see, I'm shuffling up everything. And everybody's actually going to take a level 1 card, which I did actually pre-prepare. So make sure if you do end up shuffling your cards, you do take a level 1 temple tile. As you may notice, some of these temples do go higher than that. So that can just go there. And the other one can go here. And we start off with that. The aim of the game is to get to the most points. If someone hits 15 and the opponent happens to have fewer than 10, then that basically triggers the end of the game. Otherwise, if you get to both more than 10, then that can also be a trigger as well. Aside from that, if you happen to have this deck run out, whoever has the most points is the winner. And the last game, it happened to be the case that we actually went to a tiebreaker, not just on our temples, because we were both equal on that, but actually have cards. And I actually kind of deliberately ended it when we had to 1 each as well. So these pawns off to the side, these do not come in the game, but it's just to show you how many points you're up to. So that's an interesting thing whereby the game could have actually included that as well. So you can decide who starts, and then you're basically going to go out and play the game. Now, the first player is going to start off with a number of cards, and those number of cards will be 3. The other player is going to start off with 5. So let's just give them 5 cards, and let's show you how a turn will work. Any questions, of course, do let me know in the YouTube comments are best, just because it does get shared around. And also, if you have any other thoughts, maybe you want to feel generous and support via Patreon, you can do that via that description in YouTube as well. And of course, you can head through to Linktree. They're occasionally competitions, but they are time sensitive, so they do disappear. And there's photos of this over on Instagram, so follow along there. Over 3,800 followers at the time of recording, over 3,000 posts, and join the discussion on Facebook. Okay, so like I said, you've both got 1 of these each. You've now got 3 cards, and now you're ready to start. So what are you going to do on your turn? Well, you need to go out to a location. So what can you do on your turn? You can go to any of these locations at the start. So there's 5 different things you do on your turn. The very first thing you do, though, is you draw 3 cards, even in the first round. So you draw an extra 3 cards each round, and I'll show you how the opponent is then going to take their turn as well. So you're going to draw 3 cards, and then you can do any of the following. You can move a building pawn. You discard a card to move that location. You could deploy a nation card. That's basically playing a card to where your pawn is. Basically, it's where you're able to construct. You could construct a temple. You could, and again, you construct a temple where you're at. I'll show you how that works in a second. You can migrate. I'll show you how that works as well. And you can use your nation's special ability. And quite luckily, with my turn, I can actually show you all of these things. So now we're going to show you, I'm going to discard a card. So that goes off to the side. I'm going to show it just so it's vaguely visible. It's going to move to the grey zone. Let's say I am brown. So move over here. I can now play a card. So let's say I play this card down here. Let's leave it overlapping slightly. And now I can play another card if I want to, which I can. I can play another card if I want to, which I can. And now I've got 3 cards. So firstly, even if I had only 1, you need 1, then you can take your temple and build it there. You can take your opponents, but not in the first round. So if there are more of these available, and I had a 2 and a 3, then I can place a 2 and a 3, of course, because I've got 3 cards. Now what can happen? Well, 2 things. Firstly, I can still use my ability. You need to have 3 of 1 colour in a row. So 3 in a line here. You never change the order, like the 1997 game Bonanza, which you can find on the channel as well. I can trigger the ability. In this case, it basically steals cards from over here. Over here, we have the Assyrians, which let you destroy a temple. So you can remove a temple, that's an entire stack, because this temple's building upwards. So if I go up to a level 6, all of them disappear. You have other cards, such as this guy, which lets you skip a level. So if I had 3 of these, I could then build level 3, should one be available. And there's a couple of other cards as well, which let you destroy a certain nation of your opponent. So all of those cards they've built up, that can go as well. So let's just say I'm going to stop at this point. Now, if you have fewer than 4 cards, then you can, in this case, say, right, I'm going to stop, and that's it. Whereas if you have more than 4, you tell your opponent. That is because you can use, instead of your special ability, because right now this doesn't do anything, if they had more than 4, which they do in fact, I can say, right, I'm going to invoke the general ability, I guess we can call it, which is discarding half your opponent's hand. So they can look through their cards and have to discard 2 cards. So let's say they have to discard 2 cards, they pick, I don't know, those 2. And now it's their turn. So firstly, last part of my turn is you draw 2 temple cards. So you place them down. So this one was first and then that one was second. So that would be great to now place down a future turn. But now it's their turn. They firstly will draw 3 cards. And this is actually a really good example of what's going to happen now. They can move to a location. So let's say they move to red. So they play a red to go here at the same time because they first had a red card and now they're going to play their red stuff. So they're going to play 1 red, 2 red, 3 red. And what they're going to do is, also you've got to be aware of something else, which is you still need to be discarding a card. So you always use your card up when you use your special ability or discarding half your opponent's hand. They play 3 cards. And then what they're going to do is they're going to say, right, well, firstly, I can bring out my level 1 temple. I can take your level 2 temple over here, because you can take from either side. Always available. There's not stealing, it's just always available. And level 3 temple. So now it's at its max height, you can't build more. It can then do change camps. So now using the special ability of the Sumerians. So at this construction site, all of your opponent's nation cards matching those of the most recently played card, in this case, defect to your side of the board. So you're taking at the topmost card, and there's 2 of them, so you get to take all of them. That's a trouble if you have lots of them. Now, I still have other things I can do. I've still got 2 more cards, which don't do much, but I can do something I haven't shown you yet, which is migrate. You can take the top 3, and you can only take the top 3 cards, and move them to another location. Now, I've got yellow and green coming up, so I might want to go over here, just because I might want to play a yellow card and do something there. I don't have a green or a yellow, so I can't go, I don't have a blue, so I can't go here, and then of course attack them again. So that's happened. Again, I will draw 2 cards. So I draw firstly a 4, and then I would draw a 1. So now it's going to be their turn again, so it's going to be my turn. They're kept, obviously they're hidden. And just to show you how this will work, I've got 3 cards, plus the 2 I started off with. Obviously they didn't keep more than 4 cards, they don't have to announce. I could choose to, I'm still here at this construction site. I could choose just to play a couple of cards because I can get out, oh well, I've already got 1 out, so I don't want to do that. Let's just say I discard, I don't know, a blue card to move here. And now I can play a card, let's say I play 2 cards out to take the 1 to go there. Again, those were in their hands, they're not going to be visible. And now you can see how that works. I can't build a 4 because I don't have that. They do. So on their next turn, if they get an extra card in here or 2 extra cards at this point, they can build it. It doesn't matter if it goes below 2 at this point. And of course, we'd have lost a card if they did something as well, but I didn't have more than 4. You keep on playing, as I said. Now, like I said, the game either ends when all those cards go. There's 75 cards. As you can see, sometimes you can be destroying temples. When you destroy them, they go like that. The whole group, or however many are, 3 cards in this case, you flip them face down and place them over here. So the next card you're going to draw is going to be a 1. Okay, so we start at the bottom, which isn't necessarily a good thing because you might already have out the 1 cards. So that's something to be aware of. Okay, like I said, that's one way to end the game. I did mention if you have one player's temple has a total combined value of 20 or more, or if one person's combined value is 9 or less, or it should actually be 9 or fewer. That is also something to be aware of. So one combined value is 15 or more, and the combined value of their players is 9 or fewer. Then, of course, that is going to trigger the end of the game. However, if one player's temples reaches or exceeds a total value of 15 or more, and the other players a combined value of 10 or more, the game is sent to the end phase. And once players have all ended the end phase, the game will end immediately in the following 2 situations. Someone has a combined value of 20 or more, or one player's combined value of 9 or fewer. Okay, so that is it. Like I said, we end up in the 3rd tie break, which was around actually these deck running out. So we end up with 10 points each, but I had 2 cards in hand. They had 3, so they won the game. So there we go, that is Babel. What do I think of it? My rating is, my average rating for a game is 6.39 based on 2,300 views exactly. So this is that 2,300th, and it's closer to a 6 for me. It's good, but it does feel like you can get punished quite a bit when certain things do come up. You can't obviously move migration more than once, otherwise you can have some fantastic chaining effects. A little bit of memory recollection to try and remember how to play this game, and there we have it. But thanks so much for watching. For now, back to the table.